to this happy place, welcome.
Hey guys, it's Tim, and I'm with my beautiful wife, Audrey-Ann. Pointing to you, babe.
Stop pointing at me. It's rude. Two fingers.
Two fingers.
You point. You never.
I never did that story.
I know you never did it. I just realized that.
I never did those.
We left
quiz.
you hanging. We said that there was trivia that Roberto on the Mark Twain Riverboat gave us 3 different trivia questions, and we never shared them.
We never shared it. I don't even. I remember them. I have to think about them, but
I don't want to talk about it too much. But I just want to apologize and just briefly say that the month of September has been pretty rough. Yeah, and hopefully we will be back on track.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Welcome to the Dreaming of Disney podcast. We're glad to have you here for episode 66.
No.
Yes.
56.
66. Last week was 65.
Huh. 66.
And when you add one more, it goes to 66. Basic math.
Well, then we should do our son's idea because they
execute order 66.
Anytime they hear the number 66, they talk about Star Wars.
Do it.
It's very annoying.
Unlimited power.
Oh gosh, you shouldn't do impressions, right?
I know. I should not.
Okay.
That was Emperor Palpatine from Star Wars. If you knew that. So we're recording on a Saturday. This is going to come out on Monday, which is October 2nd. If you entered into our Ahsoka lightsaber giveaway that we're doing with Johnny at the DMSW podcast and Brian and Tracy with the Rope Dropping Knowledge podcast, well, too bad it's ended because October 1st was the cutoff date. But
okay, so yesterday
was the cutoff to be entered for that. But on October 4th, we're going to be drawing winners live on Instagram.
Oh.
So with
live on Instagram or in like stories, or is he going to go live?
No, we're going live. All three of us are going live
on the 4th.
On the 4th, which is a Wednesday.
Gotcha.
So that will be after the season finale of Ahsoka, which comes out this Tuesday. So we'll find out if you win a Ahsoka Hasbro Elite FX lightsabers, courtesy of Brian Tracy at Rope Dropping Knowledge podcast. So make sure to tune in for that, and obviously tune in to our Johnny J's podcast, DMSW, as we review the Ahsoka series on Disney Plus. Me and Johnny together. So some news that has happened this past week.
Give it to me. News
jingle, or the news ticker, like the back in the old days when they had the news ticker,
sure
thing. So the Disney Vacation Club villas at Disneyland Hotel opened.
We
up this
bought
week.
one. We got a timeshare.
Spoiler alert:
we're DVC members.
Members? No,
we're not.
We are not. Unfortunately, not. But they officially opened. I think it was the 28th. Was that Thursday or Friday? It was Thursday, I think.
So now you can buy into the timeshare.
You can buy
or buy time, whatever.
Or
those
you can
terms are for timeshare people.
Request those rooms when you stay at the Disneyland Hotel.
So you can just rent the rooms, just regular hotel, not renting, because you can rent DVC points from people or
from
not
third parties.
I'm sorry, not DVC points. You can rent DVC rooms from people who rent out their points.
Yes, yeah.
Or however it works. But you can also just stay in the rooms.
Yeah, but you're going to be paying a premium for those. It's just like if staying at the Riviera at Disney World, that's a DVC hotel.
The whole thing is?
The whole thing is.
Because like with Grand Californian, there are DVC rooms there, but not the whole hotel.
Not the whole hotel, but they have a DVC area with specific rooms for that.
Right, but the Riviera is all DVC?
It's all DVC. As far as I know, it's a DVC resort.
So when we had a reservation there that we had to cancel, it was a DVC room?
Yeah, because they're all the same rooms. There's not like anything.
Not the big room that we went.
You could get that if you wanted to.
Well, but that's not what we had. I mean, that's not what we booked.
No, but so yeah, Disneyland Hotel, the villas at the Disneyland Hotel. Mm-hmm. Those opened, so you can now book those rooms if you're a DVC member, or if you want to stay at the Disneyland Hotel. If you're not, you can pay for those rooms. Probably be really hard to get into them because they're probably going to be booked up for a while.
Also,
because they started booking those
expensive.
Up a couple months ago.
You know, I have to say, I'm not like, okay, so the Disneyland Hotel is a very, for me anyway, I get very like vintage 1960s vibes. Mm-hmm. That's why it's my favorite hotel, is because I feel like I'm stepping back in time.
Yeah.
Especially the first time we ever stayed there. Mm-hmm. It was like, oh my goodness. Like 1960s Disneyland's like my favorite time. Not the characters, they're creepy, but like and it felt like that, especially when you're like walking in, you know, the entrance. The new DVC tower is just like totally, I don't understand why they designed it the way they did.
Yeah.
It doesn't fit in at all. It's a rectangle.
Screen. Yeah.
Well, not a rectangle. What's rectangular prism? Is that what it is? It's the color is totally different. There's these like rainbow shutter things on the sides, but not evenly spaced, which I like even things.
You know, because like the rest of the hotel itself is like kind of like mid-century modern type feeling. And this one is very modern.
Yeah. And it just doesn't, like, I could see that they wanted it to be different. Oh, that's the DVC tower. Mm-hmm. But it's like kind of, I don't want to say an eyesore, because it's not like it's necessarily ugly. It sticks out. It's just like, whoa, what is that?
Sticks out is different.
Like I could see that, like, make it like if they just made it the same style but a little more updated, but it's like they made it completely different. It's just kind of weird. I just wonder why they went with that, because it's not aesthetically, when you look at the entire resort, like if you're sitting at Trader Sam's or you're out at the pool and you're looking at all the towers and then the DVC tower, it's kind of like it doesn't really blend. So it's just kind of it's an interesting choice. It's just kind of odd. But
and anyways. It's also interesting, like with those
the
rooms,
outside of the building, it doesn't really matter.
I mean, the rooms look awesome.
Oh, I'm sure.
They're very similar to the layout. I mean, all Disney rooms are very similar. Even like, you know, the layouts of Disneyland Hotel, and actually all three hotels at Disneyland the rooms are laid out very similar. Even at Disney World, they're all kind of similar.
Well, we only stayed at one resort.
But just, you know, the shopping that we've done, and, you know, looked at pictures, and they're all kind of laid out the same. But like it's because the Riviera is the last, it's the newest resort. And now looking at the rooms at the Disneyland villas, they're very similar. It's just like the theming's different.
Well, the room we toured at the Riviera, it was like the biggest, right? It was like, because it was like a family.
It was a 1-bedroom with a deluxe studio lockout.
Right. So it could fit our family. It could fit 10, I think.
Yeah.
And it was
amazing.
Very nice. I mean, immediately we walked in and I was like, this is so much nicer than our house. Like, it is so nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, if they're like that.
So that opened up.
Very nice.
So
doesn't affect us.
But maybe one day we'll get one of those rooms. We'll see.
Yeah.
The other bit of news, which is a little bit on the sad side for Star Wars fans.
Oh, okay.
Friday. Sorry, Friday, yesterday. Yesterday, as in
the 29th.
The 29th.
September 29th.
Was the last opening day for the Star Wars Hotel at Disney World. The last
opening day. So
it was it's closed now.
It's closed.
It's closed.
So people who were checking in that day could check in
people that were checking out that day.
Oh, okay.
It was the last.
Because you could only stay there 2 nights, right?
It was like a 3-day, 2 nights type excursion. Yeah. It's supposed to be like a cruise.
Right. It flopped.
But
you know what? I've got to say, I'm not surprised.
I know. I really wanted to go. It looked amazing. Like the theming it's very niche, but it was, what they did was so unique, but I think it was too unique to where it only catered to a very specific fan and obviously people who had the money to do it.
Well, yes, it was crazy expensive, and there's so many families that kids now are into, growing up into Star Wars. Mm-hmm. And so for a family to spend that much is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But also, I'm a Star Wars fan. I'm not a totally new Star Wars fan. I am a classic Star Wars fan. But it's like, okay, I might be a Star Wars fan, but that's not the only thing I want to do if I'm at Disney World.
Yeah.
And they made it where it's like you can't go do other things.
Yeah, it was like this was one of the things that you were doing at Disney World. So like
right, so you're spending more than you would probably spend on an entire Disney World trip. Well, or probably equal to. You could probably do a week at Disney World for the price of 2 nights at this place. Mm-hmm. So it's not like unless you're very well off, you're not going to do 2 nights at this place and then, and then we're going to check into the, Caribbean beach and stay in another 4 days to go to the other parks.
Yeah.
This is your trip.
Yeah.
So if you only wanted to do Star Wars things, but even Star Wars fans, if they're going to Disney World, will most likely want to do other things, not just Star Wars. If you're taking the time and money to go to Disney World.
Yeah.
And it was like, I remember when you first told me about it, I was like, I felt controlled and claustrophobic.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was like, I want to be able to go and be like, if I want to go to Epcot or I want to go to Magic Kingdom, but it's like, this is your itinerary.
Yeah, it's you're on a cruise in space. It's like you can just go out whenever.
So it's like, and I get that if you're in character and you want to like be totally immersed in this world. But again, I think it could have maybe lasted if they would have had to bring that price down a lot. Because I think, okay, we have 3 boys, all very into Star Wars. Could have been fun for a day, maybe 2 days. And then I'd want to leave and go do our rest of our Disney World trip.
Yeah.
But now we've just spent more than we could on this, So it's like if they would have cut the price like half or quartered it, because it's like, okay, well now we can't go do it. It just doesn't make sense.
It was like thousands of dollars for a family of 4.
It was like, wasn't it like 6?
It was something crazy. Like I don't want to say what specific. I don't know what the specific number.
It was like somewhere between
$4,000 to $6,000 for a family of 4 for 3 days. Now you gotta realize, like, it's all inclusive. So food and drinks and all that's included.
And then your kids are like, "Can we go ride Dumbo?" And you're like, "Sorry, no.
We're in space.
We can't. There's no Dumbo, and we've spent all of our money." And then they're like, "But we wanted to go to Disney World." Sorry.
We are at Disney World, but we're not.
It just didn't. It was too. It was too hardcore.
Yeah.
And too expensive.
So hopefully they'll bring it back as just like a hotel, like a themed hotel. as you're choking.
Sorry, I dropped ice on me and then I swallowed funny. Yeah, like a Star Wars themed hotel, like that would be. I mean, I wouldn't, but the boys would love it.
Yeah.
I would stay there for a night or two. I wouldn't want to stay there for our whole trip, but yeah, that Star Wars themed hotel, absolutely.
Yeah, if they take away all like the actors and like the storyline and, you know, the inclusive, you know, food and drinks and.
Well, I think if they still had the.
Well, I think they still have the restaurants and the bar.
No. I mean the oh my gosh, I was gonna say the cast members or the employees at the hotel still act in character.
Well, yeah,
I think that could be fun when you check in and they like talk like you're checking it, but just not as controlling.
Yeah,
and cult like.
So the Star Wars Galaxy Star Cruiser. I should know this, but I don't. I know the name of the ship was I don't know the name of the ship. Halcyon.
You don't know the name of the ship.
Something like that.
Well,
but
it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what they do because I'm assuming it's a pretty large building.
Yeah.
So we didn't see it. I'm sure it's kind of hidden, so you can't. Because it's off of Galaxy's Edge, right, in Hollywood Studios?
Yeah, it's near Hollywood Studios.
We didn't even go into Galaxy's Edge that much in Hollywood Studios, but it'll be interesting to see, what they do with the building. And it's right there at Galaxy's Edge. So, yeah, a Star Wars themed hotel where you could enter into the park there, just like that you can. They don't have any hotels like that. Do they?
Well,
wait. I mean, they have like the boardwalk hotels that are within walking distance, which is a big deal there because here in California, like everything's in walking distance pretty much. You have your hotels you can shuttle in, but like there's tons in walking distance. Where there, it's like, from the boardwalk, it's like a 5-minute walk to Epcot or to Hollywood. It's like a bigger deal because most of the resorts are not within walking distance. You have to either take the Skyliner or a shuttle or a bus.
Or a boat.
So if they made it just like you said, just a Star Wars themed hotel and that you can enter into the park.
Well, I don't think you can, at least how they had it set up was you actually don't walk into the park. You take a quote unquote shuttle.
Oh, it's like a Star Wars, it's
like a Star Wars shuttle.
Land you're like, speeder or something.
Yeah. It's like you're coming from, space and you're coming down into Batuu.
Okay.
It was actually just a box truck. It was like a U-Haul truck that they
just loaded people in the back of a U-Haul?
They loaded people in the back of a U-Haul truck, but it was themed inside to look like a space shuttle.
That's weird.
So, but you never saw the outside of the truck, obviously.
So it's not like
you actually don't like walk out the hotel. It might not
be within walking distance.
I think they probably could like.
Can you see it on a map?
Probably.
Is it random talks?
I'm sure just like, after, during COVID when they didn't have the trams going at Disneyland where you had to walk from the parking lot to the parks. I'm sure they could probably do something where they theme the walking path to Galaxy's Edge, but.
Oh man, I want to go to Disney World.
I know. We're still planning on going sometime in January or early February.
We just haven't been able to pick dates now, and it kind of feels like it's never going to happen.
It's going to happen, babe. It's going to happen.
All right.
So, one thing that we wanted to talk about.
I found it.
Oh, you found it?
Yeah, it's on the map. Oh, yeah. It would be a total easy walk.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, maybe not easy, but I mean, like it's very close.
We know you listen to this podcast.
It's very close. Yeah.
So make that happen.
It's closer than when you're walking. Oh, wait, hang on. What is this? What am I looking at here? This is the Walt Disney World Swan Hotel, which I believe is in walking distance to, like, I would say it's a shorter distance from, now I don't know what's in between here.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a canal looking thing. So I don't know how that would work, but it is shorter from the back of from Galaxy's Edge to the Star Cruiser than it is from the gate of Hollywood Studios to Galaxy's Edge.
Oh, okay.
So they could totally make it like there's a path that you walk into the park, and that would be the only hotel that has, and you can take the Skyliner and do the Epcot like France entrance.
The international gateway or whatever it's called.
But this would be like a hotel like we have here, like for Grand Californian or Pixar Pier that has its own entrance.
Yeah.
A hotel that has its own entrance. And I believe, I could be wrong, I am definitely not an expert in any way about Disney World, but I believe that would be the only hotel that would have an entrance into the park.
Yeah.
So that could make a lot of people want to stay there. So there you go, people.
Yeah. I mean, if they can make it affordable within Disney standards, I know Disney's not affordable for a lot of people.
Most. Yeah.
But if they brought the price down from thousands of dollars to hundreds of dollars.
Well, like it could be it would be a deluxe.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be, because that's a nice thing about Disney World. There's so many resorts that are quote unquote on property. So you get those benefits of early entry and those things. They have so many more than we do here. And there's deluxe, moderate, and value resorts all on property. So you can stay at a value resort that is like a good neighbor price here.
For like $100 to $120 a night.
But it's depending on the year and stuff.
Yeah.
And you get those perks of, early entry and stuff. So Disney World has a lot more like that than we do here in Disneyland, where we only have the 3 and none of them are value.
Yeah. But yeah, I think you're right that, if they made it just like a regular hotel and you weren't controlled with what you can do, it just is like you're there for 3 nights, 4 nights, and you can then go to whatever park you want. And
just like Animal Kingdom Lodge is themed, like
this African
a safari.
Yeah.
But it's not like you can only go to Animal Kingdom. I definitely think they should make it a Star Wars themed hotel. And then if they have an entrance, I think it would be, it would be a popular one.
Yeah.
If they did that.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what they do with it.
Yeah. So what we briefly wanted to talk about tonight for this episode, what would you do if it was your last Disney trip?
Yes. So I need to say, because he might listen to this, our oldest, Jack, had a good idea. And he was like, I have a podcast idea. It's like, if the last Disney trip you took, if it was your last trip, what would you do differently than what you did? And we were like, hey, we're going to do that tonight. But then I'm looking back, not at our last trip, just you and I. We decided to look at our last trip as a family, and it was a good trip.
It was a good trip.
I mean, if it was our last trip ever, we would do stuff different. Well, I guess we could. We could talk about.
No, I think your customization is
because we're customizing it a bit, just because our last trip was really good. Like would we have stayed another day or so? Yes. Like maybe we would have stayed at Grand Californian instead of Disneyland Hotel if it was our last trip ever.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go at the end of July because it's so stinking hot, and it was super hot the days we were there.
It was so hot.
It was like a heat wave.
Yeah.
But as far as what we did and everything, it's like we had a great time, and I couldn't think of anything like, like when we were just talking about it, we were like, okay, if we looked back at our Disney World trip, we could think of a lot of things we would do differently. Yeah. But our last trip as a family, I'm like, we had a great time, and we, we wanted to see the shows, and we saw the shows, and we weren't rushed. We took our time, and so we're kind of tweaking it, and we're just going to ask each other a couple of questions about if it was your last trip, ... So I I'm asking you.
Okay. Ask me away.
If this was your last trip, if your next trip was your last trip.
Okay.
Where would you stay?
Where would I say? Well, I only have 3 options.
Right. Portofino.
Portofino. That's where I'm going to stay.
I'd stay at the Del Sol. Right across the street.
Best Western.
I'll say
and not the one across the street.
I'll say back in the
Motel
early
6.
Back in the early 2000s, the Del Sol was super cheap. It wasn't like, it's not nice, but like it was really cheap, like under $100, and it's directly across the Harbor Boulevard entrance. So it took you like 3 minutes to walk to the gate. Yeah.
Not anymore.
May have worn my flip-flops in the shower, but it was cheap.
Slept on top of the comforter. Yeah. Bring your own blankets and pillows.
It's no longer that cheap. But.
No.
Okay,
quality's probably the same. But
yeah, but it's like double the price. Okay.
Where would I stay?
Where would you stay? I'm not kind of having a hard time.
Because Grand California is like the nicest.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh, it's my last time. I want to splurge.
And we've only stayed there once.
Stayed there once. And I mean, for what you're paying for at that hotel is the proximity.
Yes. Yeah. You have the
else.
Entrance. I mean, there's lots of things. Like there's the spa. But it's not like that's included. It's like I went to the spa last time and we stayed at a different hotel. Like you can go to the spa.
They have nice restaurants. They have a nice bar.
But again, you can do all that even if you're not staying there.
Yeah. And the rooms, the rooms are nice, but they're not.
The room we had when we stayed was, like you said, the same layout as rooms we've stayed at a Disneyland hotel. Mm-hmm. It was just a different theme.
Yeah.
It was just different decor.
I mean, we did have it was a downtown Disney room. So we were on the third floor, I think. With a balcony overlooking downtown Disney, which was cool. That's one thing that, Disneyland Hotel does have rooms with balconies, but those are usually the suites or the really, really like the big themed rooms. But a lot of Grand California has the balconies, which are nice. You get some coffee, sit out on the balcony.
Yeah, they have like pool view. Mm-hmm. They have then like the park view, which would be awesome.
But I mean, it comes down to like what you prefer. Do you prefer like the more like modern
cabin-y cabin, but like
it's based off the Ahwahnee Hotel in Yosemite National Park. That's what it's based off of, and you looking into that more mid-century modern, or I guess they're both kind of technically mid-century modern. But do you want like a Disney room, or do you want like a classic Disney room?
Yeah,
I think I would lean towards the Disneyland Hotel just because I think it's more sentimental for our family. Mm-hmm. I think, when I think of going to Disneyland, I think of staying there.
Yeah.
Over Grand California.
Yeah. Like I had a friend a few weeks ago asking me, asking me if I'd stay at the Grand Californian and like what the benefit was of that over the Disneyland Hotel. Mm-hmm. And so I was just telling her the difference between the two. And I'm like, it kind of like, there's those extra things at the Grand Californian and the entrance right into the park. And she was asking me like why I preferred the Disneyland Hotel. And I was like, for me, it's like, I love vintage classic Disney. Mm-hmm. Like, I love it. And like I said a while back, or a little bit ago, like feel like I'm going back in time, like into the 60s. Mm-hmm. So I love that. Like all of the art of Walt Disney around the parks. It's just like right up my alley. I could decorate my house like the Disneyland Hotel. Mm-hmm. But if you're more into outdoorsy and like Yosemite, which again, love. Mm-hmm. Love Yosemite. Cabin-y feel. I don't want to say cabin, not cabin, but
Lodge.
Lodge.
It's more like a lodge.
You know, than maybe Grand California.
Because the lobby of the Grand California is amazing.
Yeah.
I love walking through it.
Looks very similar to the Ahwahnee if you've ever been to Yosemite National Park and the Ahwahnee Hotel. Very similar to that. Similar. Like very similar. Yeah. But yeah. No, I lean that way too. I mean, because I really want to stay at the Grand Californian again. But if it was my last ever trip, it's hard. Yeah. It's hard because I'm like, well, my last ever trip, I want to do like the Grand Californian. And two, we didn't really get to use, like, I always wanted to use that entrance like at night. Like go back to our hotel and then go back into the park at night. Yeah. And we didn't get to do that because we had the kids with us and it's like they're going to bed and we would have had to go like either you go or I go by ourselves, and we didn't, do that. But so there's things that I just wanted to take advantage of at that hotel that we haven't. Yeah. But if I never got to stay at the Disneyland Hotel again, I'd be very sad. So
wait, are you asked?
I asked that. I just answered it.
Me. Yeah, I know. I was like, you asked me, why are you answering this? But
because I wanted to give my answer.
I know you wanted to give your opinion. So now my question for you. Okay. If it was your last trip, how long would you stay? Obviously, a reasonable answer. You can't be like, oh, I'm going to stay forever.
I'm going to move there. Okay.
Within reason. Okay. How long would you stay?
Okay. So the longest we've ever stayed, I believe, is 3 nights.
That's a long Disneyland trip, like 3 nights.
We haven't done 3 nights in a... Well, when we went in February with our big group, we did... Because we did 3 nights at the Airbnb and then 1 night at Pixar Pier. But the first night... We didn't travel day. It was just a travel day, which typically when we go by ourselves, because we're about 4 hours away, we will leave early, go into the park for a bit, or not a bit, a lot of the day, most of the day. So we count that as our first day. So we typically only stay 2 nights. Our longer trips have been 3 nights. Like at a hotel. Like that really good trip when it was, this was in 2015, January of 2015, where they had all the Frozen stuff in California, like the snow play area.
Frozen had just come out.
And that was maybe the first time we stayed at the Disneyland Hotel. It was. We had stayed at Pixar Pier.
It wasn't when Frozen first came out, because Frozen came out in 2013.
So maybe this was 2014. This might have been 2014 then. Oh my gosh. Like in my mind, it was a couple years ago.
I think it's 2014. Yeah. That sounds about right.
Noah was 1.5 years. Or no, he would have been almost 2.
Because they had the Frozen sing-along. Yeah. And they had the snow player with the sledding. With the sledding.
It was so cool. Yeah. It was so fun. And I remember I really wanted to take our niece back because she loved Frozen. I didn't get to, but... Okay, wait, hang on. So Frozen came out November of 2013. So this would have been winter of 2015 because it wasn't like a couple months later. Because Noah would have only been 1 year old and he wasn't. He was older. Yeah. He was almost 2. So this would have been January of 2015. Okay. And I believe that was the first time we ever stayed at the Disneyland Hotel. We had stayed at Pixar. But we hadn't, or not Pixar at the time, Paradise Pier. Yep. We had never, I believe this was our first trip for the Disneyland Hotel. Okay. So it was like really exciting. I loved the hotel. I think we stayed 3 nights. It was a really good trip. But anyways.
So how long would you say?
Because I've never done it. I think I'd stay at least. It would take too long right now for me to think it through. I'd stay at least 4 nights, possibly 5.
Oh, wow.
because the first day I wouldn't have to leave because we always leave like super early in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
I could just get down there, just go in for like dinner, but it wouldn't be like a full day in the park.
Yeah.
And like, and the same thing. Yeah. Oof. I might say 5 nights because one thing that we do a lot is the last day we'll go in for a bit and we always leave later than we want because we get caught up.
Mm-hmm.
And we always think like, we shouldn't have come in so that we could just drive home and not be like so tired or rushed. Yeah. So like if I had enough days in the park, either I'd be okay with just going in for like breakfast and leaving by like 10, or I'd be okay not going in at all to the park and just,
have some resort days because we never do resort days at Disneyland.
No, not really. I mean, there's not as much to do.
Yeah.
Like there's, even like it's not much to do in downtown. I mean, there's lots of stuff to do in downtown Disney, but I wouldn't say like a day there. But we could check out some restaurants in downtown Disney, which we haven't done that much. We've been to a couple, but not a lot. But yeah, like the last day, you could like take your time checking out and then just like head home because you had enough time in the park. I'm going to say 5 nights.
5 nights. All right.
I'm not going to go into detail about like each day. That's a whole other episode. But I'm going to say 5 nights.
Okay.
Because we've done 3 nights and this is my last trip ever.
Mm-hmm. And you just have like a day at the park where maybe you don't ride a lot of rides, but you're just kind of like sitting there soaking it in.
You sleep in, you go in whenever you want, you stroll, sit on Main Street for a while, people watch.
The treat.
Yeah, like have a slow, like each day could be much slower.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I just got a big, huge craving for a black calf cold brew.
I understand.
Like insanely strong. It's 9:36 at night.
Oh my gosh, I'm tired.
Should not be drinking coffee at that time of day.
No. I want to know, hey, listeners, if you go to the parks and you've had the black calf cold brew, have you ever asked for extra of the cream? I want to know if
you mean
it's
like
possible.
On the side?
Yeah, because I always want more. It's like because I like a little coffee with my cream. Not as I'm more. Not as bad as I used to be. But still, sometimes I'm like, I just want like a bit more.
Yeah.
Not like half and half or anything, but just a little bit more of the cream.
Yeah.
And I wonder if I could ask for extra. Has anyone ever done that? Because we've always done a mobile order.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know because I want to do it.
Okay. Maybe next time.
Maybe
Give
next
it a shot.
time.
All right. What's your question? You have one more question for me? Or are we only doing one each?
Didn't you just... Oh, it is my turn.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll ask another one.
Okay.
If it was your last trip ever... Ooh, I got a good one.
Okay.
Ooh, this is hard. Oh my gosh, this is hard.
Okay.
It's making me sad. Hang on.
It's all right. Compose yourself.
It's making me sad thinking about it. If it was your last trip ever, I need to go to bed because I'm getting emotional. This isn't even real. What would your last ride be?
Oh, wow.
To close out your last day ever.
Last ride. Wow.
Casey Jr. Circus Train.
That's it. Casey Jr.'s Roger Rabbit. That's it. That's the one. It has to be Space Mountain. It has to be. That's it. That's the ride. Every time I go on it, I get giddy.
You do get giddy?
I get giddy.
No, I do laugh a lot on that ride.
So, Specifically Hyperspace Mountain.
You can't choose.
Oh, okay.
Unless you chose for your last trip to be in May.
Okay. But yeah, Space Mountain. That'd be the one.
All right.
I don't have another one for you.
You don't have what?
I don't have another question for you.
Oh. I thought you were gonna ask me what my ride was.
Here,
rude. You didn't ask me what my last ride was.
Here's my question. If this was your last trip ever, what would be the last ride that you ride?
What? I just asked that question.
I know. So I'm asking you.
That doesn't count.
Okay.
That's where I get emotional.
Small World.
It'd have to be Small World.
Yeah.
If it was back before May, maybe Splash.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like if I was never gonna go again, I mean, I would have ridden Space Mountain earlier in the trip many times, probably like at least twice a day in my long trip.
Mm-hmm.
But to finish it out, classic, my favorite.
Yeah.
With my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
If it was your last trip to Disneyland, I just had it in my head.
Are you getting emotional too? No.
No, I'm not getting emotional. If it was your last trip to Disneyland, what would be your last meal there? So whether it's treat or restaurant or whatever, what would it be?
It would definitely be a treat, because if it's my last day, I'm closing out the park. That's another thing about my days. How many days I'd stay?
Yeah.
I don't think I'd want my last moment in Disneyland to be at like 11 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
I'd want it to be at midnight, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So then if I stay one more night, I just leave the next morning.
Yeah.
That feels better.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Because I want my last moment to be
at close.
At park close, yeah. Yeah. So it would definitely be a treat. And even though it's not my usual end of the night treat, it'd probably be a churro.
Yeah.
Because it's just so classic.
Yeah.
But what would my last meal be? Like, what would my last dinner? Oh my gosh.
Galactic Grill.
I don't like thinking about this. Galactic Grill. No, that was
cheeseburger from Galactic Grill.
What's that place across from Indiana Jones called?
Bengal Barbecue.
Bengal Barbecue.
People say it's really good. Yeah. I've never had it, but people say it's really good.
Yeah.
So,
because cake pop I get for the drive home.
You're just saying churro because I'm wearing my Disneyland churro shirt.
I am because it was always my like. It used to be my watch the parade treat.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I take that back. It used to be my treat in between the parade and the fireworks, because I'd watch the parade and from there park out for the fireworks every single time. And I'd get a churro.
Yeah.
Yeah, but my last thing would be on Main Street while it was closing, eating a churro. Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
Gosh, now I could think of more questions, you know, but then it makes me sad.
Yeah.
But what would your last like dinner be? What restaurant? I'm gonna have a bonus question. What would your last dinner be on your last day?
Last dinner. Oh man.
Mine would either be just for sentimental reasons. I'm not gonna give this too much thought because I'm tired. It would either be Pizza Planet or Jolly Holiday.
Yeah. Because
those are my two most sentimental.
Yeah.
Pizza Planet has been a routine place for my family longer than Jolly Holiday.
People like to hate on Pizza Planet, but
I know.
It's good.
We used
It's
to,
fun.
gosh, when I would go like with my best friend and my siblings and that group, we'd always go to Pizza Planet.
Back when it was Pizza Port.
Yeah, it was Pizza Port, but we'd call it Pizza Planet because we just always thought it was Pizza Planet.
Yeah.
My mom liked Pizza Planet.
Pizza Planet.
Oh,
all right.
But I also love Jolly Holiday, and you could sit there on Main Street.
Yeah.
Get a grilled cheese with a tomato soup. It's a great meal in the winter.
So for me, I'd be going across the street, across the Esplanade, to Lamplight Lounge.
Oh, I'm thinking just Disneyland. I didn't even think of California.
Because I really love Lamplight Lounge. Their burger is so good.
Shout out real quick. Last time when we were there in May with the kids, we ate at Hungry Bear, and I would always get their, well, if they have it, I'd get their fried green tomato sandwich. Very good. But I got their cheeseburger, which I had like never gotten before, but I was like, oh, just gonna give me a cheeseburger. It was so good. There was like the house sauce or something on there. It was good.
Yeah. If I had to be restricted to Disneyland, I would say Hungry Bear.
I love Hungry Bear.
Even though it's way out of the way.
It is. It's
always
I gotta walk all the way over there.
That's the only downside, is that it's way over on the dead end side of Disneyland. Now that there's no
Splash Mountain.
No Splash Mountain's not over there. There's really no reason to go all the way over.
Winnie the Pooh's a great ride.
Winnie the Pooh is good.
And people walk that way to Galaxy's Edge.
That's true. I prefer to walk the other way by Frontierland to Galaxy's Edge, just because you get, the entrance and the Millennium Falcon and all that kind of stuff. So.
Yeah, good questions though. I like those.
Yeah.
And again, I don't really like thinking about it, but nothing. I got nothing.
That's it. If it was your last trip, what would you do? Let us know. Reach out to us on Instagram at the dreaming.of.disney. Did I say that right?
I don't know.
I lost track.
You guys,
of all the
I
dots.
tried so many different handles on Instagram. I really did. But we could just say Dreaming of Disney podcast.
Yeah.
Is it podcast or is it just Dreaming of Disney?
No, it's Dreaming of Disney podcast. So it's dreaming.of.podcast.
Because once again, I haven't been on Instagram in so long. Okay. You're right. Dreaming.of.disney.podcast.
Yeah. So
we were doing so well there for a while with reels. And
I know. It's like we have lots of videos and stuff to where we could do a lot of reels and get more engagement.
I've been forgetting about Wallpaper Wednesday. I've got some good pictures for that. I've got this game of like, where am I in the park? I was taking
did that once.
I know, but I have a bunch of pictures in my camera roll of like, where am I? I need to start up again. All right.
So this week, we're going to make a promise to you, listeners, and
I'm
you
not,
followers.
because I homeschool 4 children,
Okay,
but Tim will make a promise to you.
Maybe, work's been busy, but we'll get back on Wallpaper Wednesday. I'm going to post the trivia.
Post the trivia if we can remember it.
From Alberto.
No, it was Roberto.
Roberto, who works on the Mark Twain riverboat.
Yes.
But yeah, what would you do if it was your last trip to Disneyland?
Yeah, where would you stay? What would you eat? What would your last ride be? I like that. We should put that out there.
Yeah, we'll do some questions on our stories this week.
Yeah.
So follow us on Instagram, and don't forget the Ahsoka lightsaber giveaway is drawing on October 4th. And, but yeah, leave a review. We appreciate you all listening to us and following us along our Disney journey. And so until next time, we'll talk to you later.